What's up, everyone? I hope you're all having a fantastic day. To get us started in today's video is a clip that was shared by 801 XRP. Now, what do you all think about March of this year? Currency, CBDC, crisis, eclipse, change in our lifetime? Major events could be happening in March. The stars, they're aligning for the better good. Stay tuned for what's coming.
Just
Up the tailgate.
yeah, exactly.
So,
Not the March, yeah, not to blackpill everybody, but
no, it's like
get ready.
I've been looking out for a water ritual and waters connected to currency and maritime law. So I've been saying there's going to be a bridge collapse, or this could also be a currency collapse to roll into CBDCs into digital currencies. So when would that be?
March of this year is when Pluto touches Aquarius for the first time in our lifetimes. When Pluto changes signs, there's always something big that happens. Because Pluto moves so freaking slow, all of the stuff that he's doing in a sign is a very gradual process, right? And then as Pluto's getting to the end of a sign, that's when we really see a lot of massive changeover occur. Like what we're seeing right now with literally structures collapsing, like government structures collapsing. The corruption, right? That's the main thing. Is Pluto's whole purpose is to take the stuff that's rotten and reveal it to you so that you can compost it. That's Pluto. Destruction and rebirth. And the hope with Pluto, because there is always that hope at the end of the day that, like I said, that rich soil, as we're like destroying things, we're realizing what traditions, that's another Capricorn word, need to stay or need to come back, and what traditions need to be scrapped. And that's the whole point of Aquarius, is now that you've got the basis of what the rules are, Capricorn, what the traditions are, Capricorn, Aquarius is like, okay, now we know the rules, what rules need to be broken. So in the course of a year, a calendar year, we can have anywhere from 4 to 6 eclipses occur. 2020 was a really special year. We had 6 freaking eclipses in that year. It was nuts. And that's a little bit more unusual to have that many that close together. But anyway, eclipses in general bring some kind of big event, some kind of crisis event that ultimately reorients your entire life. So there is all this chatter about the Great American Eclipse and the intersection of these 2 eclipse paths and like what's going to happen in those places. I don't know. I wish I knew, but I don't. Some interesting stuff's going to go down for sure.
October 14th, we're going to be having this huge eclipse, right? This great American eclipse be passing through the 4 corners this year. And then the next year is the total solar eclipse, April 8th. Do you know the significance of something like this?
On the general level, right? Eclipses are essentially a new or full moon, but like on crack. So, they always bring about some kind of like crisis event in order to reorient people towards where they need to be going. When talking about the mechanics of the stars and any kind of tool, it can be used for good or evil. Certain parties would absolutely try to use that kind of energy and direct it in a way that they want, but you ultimately at the end of the day always have the power to choose how your life is going to go, right? On an individual level. I love talking.
As always, welcome back to Money Side, your favorite crypto news channel. If you're new here, welcome back to the XRP Army. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way you don't miss out on our daily crypto news updates. More today from Ripple. This update, Ripple says that the future is bright for the next generation of Web3 innovators. The Ripple SVP, Eric Van Miltenberg, predicts that over 50% of global universities will embrace blockchain, crypto Web3 in core business and finance programs by 2025. Young predicts that more crypto and blockchain firms will also be acquired by traditional financial service players and established companies from other sectors. She says this increased consolidation is a sign of market maturation and will lead to an overall healthier ecosystem. Ripple's Vardahan issued perhaps the boldest prediction, foreseeing the rise of the next Apple or Amazon in crypto solutions. He believes that the crypto and economic challenges of the past year will force companies to refocus on their visions and customer needs, and that the industry will emphasize unparalleled customer experience as a result. In more interesting news today, we've got this tweet from Digital Asset Investor. He shared some thoughts saying, No wonder Gary Gensler isn't worried about potential money laundering in the Ethereum ICO. When will Heister Pierce blow the whistle? New day, anyone? Regulatory clarity would result in token sales being conducted in a more professional manner and better disclosure and transparency for the entire process. Regulation would also reinforce the need for sellers to have appropriate anti-money laundering and terrorist financing policies in place as a part of the overall campaign. Digital tokens are certainly having their Wild West moment, and the uncertainty of the cryptocurrency market has invited a number of early adopters who are bad actors. Regulation will create needed stability and let real innovators further develop tokens and blockchain technology to the benefit of consumers.
Gensler, the head of the SEC, is someone who was heavily involved in the Russia hoax. In fact, he was the guy who helped to finance the Russia hoax. He was the treasurer of the Clinton campaign back in 2016. We investigated all of this in 17 and 18. And look, we found out that he was the guy who made the payments to a law firm who then moved it on to Fusion GPS. I think all of your viewers know that story. Now, look, how can a guy who I investigated, who clearly funded a dossier to target Donald Trump owns True Social, as I think most people know, how can that guy be in charge of this? But look, just to go even deeper, if you want to go know how deep this gets, it happens to be that Peter Strzok, who we also investigated, who was the FBI man in charge, who actually investigated the Russia hoax and helped to create the Russia hoax in many ways, and who was ultimately fired from the FBI. His wife also is one of the top people at the SEC. Now, look, we've asked simple questions. Why are these people involved? How can they possibly be unbiased at the SEC if they're people that we have had under investigation or related to people? In any normal world, you would recuse from this. Any lawyer involved. I mean, look at all the people that recuse themselves in typical business deals.
The SEC chairman was actually part of that.
Right. Well, that's exactly right. I mean,
Yeah.
You can't make this up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a guy that we had under investigation, that we proved clearly that he's the guy that helped to launder all this money through a law firm to pay for the documentation, the Steele dossier. And how is this guy not recused? That's the point that we're making here. There's several people. How did all these people that were involved in the Russia hoax, who lied to the American people for so long, are now in charge of the SEC, deciding basically who can become public and who cannot? I think it's hard for my former colleagues to not see what's right in front of them.
Well, look.
And now to wind down on today's video, we've got another tweet from Digital Asset Investor. He reacted to a video that was shared by Squawkbox of Brian Armstrong saying, "Hey Brian Armstrong, nice interview. Now give us our Flare and Songbird." In the video, Armstrong says that crypto is the most important technology that can help update the financial system. The rest of the world is trying to draw crypto companies in. The U.S. really risks falling behind, especially due to the lack of regulatory clarity in the crypto industry. We definitely need to strategize better moving forward.
I think new legislation is needed. And the reason is that if you look at Americans, 80% of them feel like the current financial system doesn't work for them. You know, the fees are too high, the delays are there, it doesn't serve everybody equally. And it's not surprising, by the way, the current financial system is built on 40-year-old technology. Some of the laws have been around for 100 years before the internet even existed. And so, my belief is that cryptocurrency is actually the most important technology that can help update the financial system. And what's really cool to see is that actually the user base of crypto, advocates out there, there's 1 in 5 households in the US are now using crypto. They're actually coming together and starting to get organized and saying, we want to elect candidates across 435 congressional districts that will help create this industry here in America safely.
Do you think realistically we are closer to regulation? Becky and I and Joe were talking about this earlier. And, it feels like we're closer, but also feels like maybe we're just as behind as we were 5 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I've been spending more and more time in D.C., and what's great to see is that there is strong bipartisan support for legislation. I think everybody saw what happened with FTX, and they said, okay, we need to make sure there's strong consumer protection. We also recognize that there's innovation potential here, and we don't want this to be like 5G or something like that, the semiconductor industry that got moved offshore too much. We need this to be built here in America with strong consumer protection. So there's at least 3 different groups I'm aware of in DC, senators that are working on different bills being drafted in various different forms. And it takes a small miracle anytime something actually becomes law, but I'm excited to see that there's people who are passionate about that, making that happen. And I think the voters in America want to see that. They're going to elect candidates coming up who are going to advocate for that.
So what do you tell the crypto critics? And I'm thinking Senator Elizabeth Warren, she has said the following. She says, we have money laundering rules that cover banks and credit unions and stockbrokers and gold dealers and even Western Union, but current rules don't cover big parts of the crypto industry, and crypto likes it that way. Is she right?
No, that's just simply not true. I mean, Coinbase is a great example of this. I started this company more than 10 years ago now, and I started it in the United States for a reason. I believed that this needed to be built here in a compliant and regulated way. So we've actually been regulated for about 10 years now. I mean, we initially sought out money transmission licenses here in the US because that was the closest thing we could find to a license that made sense. We've since gone beyond that. I mean, we got one of the first BIT licenses in New York. We're regulated by the CFTC, a federal regulator here, registered with FinCEN. And by the way, that's just in America. So the US risks really being left behind here a little bit. The rest of the world is actually moving and trying to draw crypto companies in. London and Singapore and Hong Kong and the financial hubs of the world are saying we want crypto to be built here. Europe just passed comprehensive crypto legislation. And so the US really risks falling behind.
What do you say?
As always, do your own research and always trade safely, guys. Please keep in mind, we're not a licensed financial advisor. All videos on this channel are intended for entertainment purposes only. Let us know what you think in the comments section below, and let's have a conversation. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, and please click on that subscribe button below and turn on notifications so you get informed whenever we post our amazing content. Thanks again, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next Money Side.